Representative Marsh.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, nearly every weekend I go home to Ashland, and I usually get about 48 hours there. Sometimes that feels like way too short a time. But this weekend, yesterday, I was really ready to get in my car and come back here. And the reason is because I think we are beginning to address in a very public way those big issues just referred to that heretofore we've really only been talking about in subcommittees and in private conversations. We're going to talk about revenue, we're going to talk about cost cutting, and we're going to put together a budget because we are constitutionally required to do so. But as we start down this path, I hope we will hold front and center our awareness of ourselves as guardians of the public trust. It is our responsibility to ensure that our public capital produces the maximum returns. If we do our jobs well, Oregonians of the future will be better off, both individually and collectively as a member of our communities. With this in mind, I would draw your attention to an article that was in the New York Times on April 20th. It was entitled, "How Childcare Enriches Mothers and Especially the Sons They Raise." According to a Nobel laureate economist, an investment of $1 in high-quality daycare produces a return of $7.30 in the form of increased wages and social costs averted. Now I ask you, what kind of money managers would fail to recognize the value in such an investment? The returns come in the form of public goods such as increased taxable income, public savings, and more vibrant communities, as well as private benefits like increased earnings for individuals. Traditionally, most of the investment in our public infrastructure, such as funding for Head Start, has come to us from the federal government. Unfortunately, our federal colleagues are currently engaged in an ideological war that threatens to paralyze support for families and communities. But meanwhile, back in Oregon, we are committed to the public good. Even so, we're vulnerable to the toxic partisanship that plagues us on the national level. Our challenge is to swim against that tide and to reform our tax system on our own Oregon terms. Since our founding, investments in education, transportation, security, and the like have made us great. Similar investments will put us back in the lead among these great but sometimes confused United States. Colleagues, I look forward to the conversation ahead. Thank you, Madam Speaker.